Well, joining me now is media expert Louise Ridley from the Huffington Post and Scott Bryan, who is from BuzzFeed. You don't have to Google either of those to find out what they are. It's been a bit of a revelation, Louise, hasn't it? I mean, of course, some of the things are obvious. I mean, people Google those who've died this year, like Robin Williams and others. But what did surprise you?
I think the most interesting section of this list, among all the billions of searches that are made every year, is the how-to questions and the who is, what is. So how are people using Google to find things out? And as we've just seen on the video, the how-to things, a lot of them are things like how to draw, how to crochet. So we're using Google as a sort of DIY manual. We always say the internet's replaced encyclopedias, but it's actually become a physical manual for us, and that's because of the prevalence of video, I'd say, teaching us how to do things, becoming a teacher and a guide.
I would love to know who in Bristol is Googling how to squat. Get in touch if you're one of those people. In the meantime, though, here are some of those people who are, well, they want to crochet.
It's really cosy, you know, and I suppose in the winter, you know, it's something nice near by the fire, and you can, you know, I do all my own presents now.
Especially, you know, you come in, like I say, come from work and you just think, oh, just sit on the settee, cup of tea, get my crochet out, and it's just really nice.
There you go. I'm tempted to Google it myself now, how to crochet, Scott.
Not try it.
Get a nice woolly hat. What caught you by surprise about this?
Well, I think there was, you know, certainly a lot of celebrity in there with like Robin Williams' passing.
Yeah.
I think there was quite a lot of people in different generation really loved him. And I think a lot of people wanted to kind of have an overview and find out as much about the circumstances of how he passed away, but also about his work and his career. So I think that was rather interesting. Jennifer Lawrence has been sort of really huge in news throughout the year, pretty much consistently. So I think people are sort of seeing that. And doesn't just sort of general news like the iPhone still consistently up there each year.
That's the thing, isn't it? When we, perhaps in the news, don't explain stories, you know, as best we should, people go online and they search for it. So, for example, what is ALS? Because of the Ice Bucket Challenge. Well, that's effectively the American Motor Neurone Disease Association.
There are many examples of things like that. So what is fracking? What is Ebola? That's people reading the news and they come across a term that's new, that's surfaced for them this year, and you use Google to kind of fill in the blanks where perhaps news media moves really fast. So if you miss the introduction one day, perhaps the news doesn't always explain these things to you. You need the context. And
also,
we use Google for.
I mean, you mentioned the intergenerational people, the younger generation perhaps wanting to find out about Robin Williams. They wanted to find out about Twiggy, for example.
This was really curious. We thought this as well in the office, and we had a look at the Huffington Post. We thought, why? I thought maybe Twiggy was on Celebrity Big Brother, something like that. She wasn't. The only big media thing she was on was BBC Who Do You Think You Are?
Okay.
That could have triggered it, but it's still odd that Who is Twiggy was one of the top searches this year.
People searching who do they think Twiggy is.
It's a bit of a mix, maybe because her name is, you know, her nickname's quite unusual and interesting.
Here's another thing as well that seems to crop up in the list of the what is searches. There's a lot of them that are sort of medical or their conditions. What is autism? What is lupus? What is anxiety? People are going to find out about things that might affect them personally, Scott.
Which sometimes can be a good thing, but also a bad thing. Like, I think sometimes when you have an issue or you're sort of worried that you might have something, the best thing is to kind of consult a friend or mostly a doctor. Going to Google is like fear, because you put in anything, it's like death. And it's there to scare rather than kind of compromise. I think that's where some of the benefit of social media is, because you can then kind of ask friends and have like an expert get back to you in terms of, you know, with an actual answer. Like Google can help and guide the way, but I can't always answer. I
mean, with that in mind, do you think we should take it all with a bit of a pinch of salt?
I think we certainly should, and I think what we've discussed today kind of reinforces the fact that Google is not used by itself, though it's huge. You know, 90% I think of people use it as their browser, and as their search engine, but it needs to be used with many other things, not in isolation. With talking to your friends, human contact doesn't get eroded by this, and of course social media is absolutely huge and can't be ignored as well.
And Scott, I know there was one search that was a top regional trend in Liverpool that has confounded you. Tell me about that.
Which one's that again?
People in Liverpool apparently, there's trending, they were searching how to Google on Google.
Oh yeah, which is amazing. Because it's like, you've just done it. So it's like, congratulations. I would really want to hear the logic about that, and why so many collective people did that at the same time.
There's no more to Googling than that.
Yeah,
you know,
you've done it.
There are no
Well done.
tips on how to Google.